Good afternoon and welcome to the Georgia Tech People and Technology Forum for 2013. I am the director of IPAT, Georgia Tech's Institute for People and Technology. My name is Beth Minot and I am thrilled to welcome you here. We have an exciting two-day program. We're going to be discussing Internet of Things. We're going to be looking at Google Glass, the future of wearable computing. We're going to be looking at software-defined networking and infrastructure. And the entire time, we're going to be having a conversation with each other and with the larger research community about the future of these trends and the impact for people, for business, and for our society. I have just a few short instructions. I'm a professor. I have to give you instructions. I have a few short instructions for you as we embark on this year's forum. The first is, promise me that you will meet someone that you do not already know. I have looked at the attendance list. I know that there is someone in the audience that you have not met before. Please introduce yourself. Use this as a networking opportunity. One of the purposes of our institute is to create this crossroad, to create these sets of connections. And every single year, we've had new collaborations, new conversations, and new engagements come out of our forum discussions. So first request, first instruction, meet someone new. The second is learn something new. Now, this isn't going to be difficult because the lineup of speakers and panelists and everything that we have available to you, that's going to be easy to achieve. Learn something new and tweet about it. Our tweet, IPAT13, #IPAT13. Tell the world what you're learning here and engage the larger world in that conversation. All right? And then the third bit of instructions, I know 3 is what everyone's going to be able to handle, so meet someone new, learn something new. The third is we're an educational institution as well as a research institution. Throughout your 2 days with us, you're going to meet and you're going to interact with the students that are engaged in a wide variety of research projects. Everyone here is talented here. Everyone here is successful. This is an opportunity for you to pay it forward. Engage the students, engage the questions that they have, engage their ambitions. You may not realize that just 2 minutes of conversation with them could be pivotal for the rest of their careers. Take the time, take the opportunity to touch those passions, to touch their curiosity, and give them that little bit of feedback, that little bit of acknowledgement that what they're doing is exciting. And what you'll hear is that a decade now, 2 decades from now, they're going to be coming back to Georgia Tech, and they're going to say the experiences that I had at Georgia Tech, the encouragement, the insights, the way that people believed in me made a difference in my life. And you're part of that equation. So those are your 3 instructions. Please don't forget them. Don't make me repeat them. We're good. All right. My instructions from the organizers of the forum is to make sure I thank our sponsors. Each year, we engage a select number of our sponsors to help us host this event, to help bring it to you, to provide a wonderful setting, to provide wonderful food for you. And it's the support of these sponsors that makes this possible. So I'd like to thank AT&T, specifically AT&T Mobility here in Atlanta, to thank AirWatch, to thank Steelcase. AT&T and Steelcase are both returning sponsors of the forum. To thank EMC, Code 42, and also thank Cisco. These sponsors make this program worthwhile. I know I have some of the sponsors here in the audience, so if you'd raise your hand briefly. Thank you to these individuals. And then finally, I want to tell you again a little bit about what to expect today, and you get to see me at the beginning, and you get to see me at the end, and then thankfully, we have fantastic content for the middle. We're going to start with our keynote from Bill Morelli from IHS, and my counterpart, Jeff Evans, will be introducing him soon. Then we have a number of esteemed guests that are going to speak to what they've heard Bill say and speak to a wide range of issues associated with Internet of Things. After that break, after that panel, we're going to return with Ron Hutchins, who is our CTO on campus, and he's going to tell you about our fascinating program called the Convergence Innovation Competition. And in particular, he's going to talk to you. Remember I told you about those students, those passionate students who are engaged in projects? He's going to talk to you about the competition that just concluded last night. He's going to tell you about the winning teams and introduce them, and he's also going to talk to you about the competition that is going to happen in the spring. So you're going to get to hear directly about student engagement as well as have the opportunity to see those demonstrations this evening. We're going to conclude tonight with another keynote from Jeff Reed from Cisco, talking to us about software-defined infrastructure, software-defined networking, and then I will come back at the end of today to wrap things up and to invite and escort you across Tech Square to a reception with a number of our research demonstrations. So a terrific day lined up for you, and we're very excited that you're here with us. So last but certainly not least, because I'm introducing my boss, I would like to introduce to you Steve Cross. Steve is our Executive Vice President for Research. Georgia Tech's Institute for People and Technology is one of a number of institutes across campus to create these crossroads. Was that on purpose? To create crossroads by Steve Cross for interdisciplinary research conversations. This ambitious plan of Steve's ties directly to Georgia Tech's strategic plan, and there is no better person to kick off this year's forum. Thank you, Steve.
Well, great. I welcome you to this event, and we only have two rules here at Georgia Tech. That's to have fun and to have impact. The conjoining word "and" is very important. If we just have fun, it's not good. If we just have impact, it's not good. And I think this event is one where we can have both fun and impact. I know we're going to have fun. I'm really looking forward to the talks, but I'm also looking forward to the chance to see the demonstrations this evening, and tomorrow afternoon, many from our students. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. We have 300 registrants for this meeting. Not everybody is here yet. 60 different companies represented, so we're really thrilled about that. Beth told me that the person who came the furthest is from the University of Liberia, so we're excited that this is really an international meeting as well. Let me also thank the sponsors and also thank Ed Price down here, who's the general chair for this meeting. So Ed, thank you very much, because I know there's a lot of work to put this together, so thank you in advance. But Beth mentioned our strategic plan, which we developed 4 years ago, rolled out 3 years ago. And one of the things that we wanted to do in this plan is we have lots of great research and educational programs at Georgia Tech. And part of this plan was, can we, with Georgia Tech and the innovation ecosystem that's in this region, can we create something that's even greater than the sum of the great parts? Now, if we go back 4 years ago, we had an idea, and the first time we did this, it was called the Future Media Fest. And Future Media was an initiative across Georgia Tech, because we realized that in the colleges and GTRI, in our economic development activities we call Enterprise Innovation Institute, we had something like 20 different initiatives that dealt with advanced networking, digital media, applications of advanced media, computational media, et cetera. And if we could actually bring these together, Georgia Tech could have even more impact than any one of them could by themselves. In our strategic plan, this is something that we've coined as interdisciplinary research institutes. Now, it's a concept we've had at Georgia Tech since the mid-1980s. It's really not a new concept. But to try to do it in a more strategic way where we use the word cross a lot here at Georgia Tech, where we could create these intellectual crossroads where an organization like the Institute for People and Technology could provide shared services, access to data to much of the research that's done at Georgia Tech. So we could bring together a community of people who are doing discovery-focused research and applied research and deploying those research results for the good of society and for commercialization purposes. And I think we're beginning to see that vision is paying off in terms of companies that are beginning to locate in this space and being formed in this space. This is one of 9 such organizations we have at Georgia Tech that span biomedical devices, manufacturing, materials, a new robotics institute that was just announced yesterday. It's very exciting to see, because this brings all of Georgia Tech, all of the colleges, our Georgia Tech Research Institute, and our economic development activities together in support of faculty and students. And one of the things we've been doing is using this research infrastructure to support the educational programs, because one of the things our students crave, and it's part of our strategic plan, is an experiential component of their education. Historically, that's been done through cooperative education, where you go off and work for a company for 3 months. That's still a very important part of our program. But now these innovation competitions are very exciting for the students, and it's a great source of innovation for the companies that sponsor them. One of these was supported by our Research Network Operations Center, part of IPAT. Yesterday, it's called the Georgia Tech Journey. And what we want to do is create an environment that would be immersive for the students and people who might want to come to Georgia Tech as students, so they could experience what Georgia Tech is like. The winners of this competition will be demoing their products at the reception this evening and tomorrow as well. So I encourage you to come and see those. My favorite one was a student project that would identify where free food is on campus. And I remember when I was a student, I had to kind of crawl around and find that by myself. But now it'll be broadcast that there's an event, maybe it's a recruiter or something, and there's free pizza, and that'll be great. So I'm going to try to get a copy of that app myself. But over 100 research demonstrations will be part of this meeting, and I encourage you to interact with the students just like Beth suggested. So that's enough for me. This is a very exciting event, hopefully a very interactive event, and I would thank you for your both your attendance here and your active participation. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to my colleague Jeff Evans, who is one of the founding members of IPAT, its initial deputy director, and now is back at the Georgia Tech Research Institute as the director of the Information and Communications Laboratory, but still an active member here of IPAT as well. So Jeff, take it away. He didn't want me to say this, but he's also a duffer just like I am. We have a love of Georgia Tech and a love of golf. So.
That's exactly it.
In that order.
So we'll go lose a few more golf balls, but I do want to thank you for the introduction, and I am thrilled to be the Information and Communications Lab Director in GTRI. It's closely connected to so many things that we're doing here, and so it was a difficult choice to not be the Deputy Director. So I was one of the co-conspirators with Beth, a lot of meetings, developed this with Steve's vision from a shoestring basically to what you are seeing now. So that's been thrilling, and I will be staying on as a Georgia Tech advisor to IPAT. So there's going to be some close associations. You'll hear more about that during our next panel. But I believe that what's happening here is incredibly important and impactful. There's so many things happening between IPAT, GTRI, and really everybody across campus that creates research initiatives in the space that we're going to talk about, and thought leaderships in an area that our keynote is going to be describing here in just a moment. So it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce our keynote, the speaker on a topic of significant importance, one that you're hearing. It's tossed around the world. You're hearing it everywhere, from the Internet of Things. Sometimes it's called cyber physical systems. It's called so many different components. But the whole point is that every device, every system is going to be interconnected, sharing information in certain ways. That opens up a Pandora's box of many concerns. And in particular, what we're going to be learning here is it's pervasive, a cognitive Internet of Things. It suggests that we have major research issues. What's the human interaction? How are you going to use it securely? And what's the privacy impacts? And what are all those components? And we couldn't have a better speaker to deliver that message than on the human edge of the Internet of Things from Mr. Bill Morelli. And as the Associate Director for IHS, which is a global leader, by the way, for the last 50 years in understanding just how to harness the importance and the use of information. Bill is an international expert in mobile systems, machine-to-machine, and Internet of Things, and at IHS is the primary analyst responsible for examining the global market for Internet-connected devices. So, and by the way, IHS is truly global, and we were talking about the impacts here, and that it operates in 165 countries, and they're focused on technology impact around the world. So, without further ado, I am extremely pleased to introduce our keynote on the human edge for the Internet of Things, and that's Mr. Bill Morelli.